All right. Hey, everybody, it's Patrick and BJ. Give us a like and share, and let's go.
Well, you know what? A lot of people want to invest in real estate, but they don't know how, and there's a lot of hesitation around that.
Right.
And you know what? Did you know? I think this is a pretty old fact that more millionaires are created from real estate than
Yes.
anything else.
Yeah.
It's not inheritance. It's not doing the stock market.
It's not buying the lottery tickets.
Lotto tickets, which, people go bankrupt usually after that anyways, right? After 3 years, they spend it all. And entrepreneurship, like running your own business, is not at the top of that list.
Yeah.
It is the most path. It is the path of least resistance for the common person. Right? You don't have to be a genius. It takes hard work. Yes, it does. It takes money, all of those things, right? So we're going to get into the top 8 reasons why people don't invest in real estate and what's holding them back. So the number 1 reason is, this makes sense, scared to lose money.
Okay.
Now, I think people have to, everybody's got a different risk tolerance. And you've got to know yours. Mm-hmm. I'm one of those people, I'm not risk tolerant. I want to be a sure bet, safe bet. I want to know everything, all the things, and even if something goes wrong, what's my backup plan?
Right.
And that's allowed me to do some investing in real estate. And then at different times, I was like, okay, I'm kind of done with that. I don't see any more appreciation, profit, or it's not worth the headache anymore.
Right.
And I've let go of real estate investments. So that is the number 1 reason.
Okay.
Number 2, they don't know what they don't know.
Devin is a perfect example of that.
Right? You sort of believe one thing.
Yeah.
Or you get bogged down in analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
And I could be guilty of that, where it's like, I want to know as much as possible. Basically what I'm doing is I'm removing the risk of a downside by trying to know all of the potential issues.
Yeah.
And that holds me back sometimes.
Yeah, and I referenced Devin, who's a past client of mine, and his issue was talking about not knowing what he didn't know. It wasn't until he reached out to actual professionals. So he reached out to myself and a mortgage rep that he found out not only did he not have to rent, but that he could go out, and we got him his forever home. And he's raising his family in there, loving living there, loving living in the neighborhood that he got into. But he didn't know that it was possible until he talked to somebody.
You got to talk to the experts. That's the biggest point right there. And, people will wait. I'm throwing this as an add-on. People will wait to buy real estate when you should do the opposite. Buy real estate and then wait.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Number 3. Waiting for the real estate market to crash.
Yeah, so, that one, we've been here in Victoria, I've been hearing about the bubble bursting since 2012.
And not that there hasn't been price adjustments along the way.
Yeah.
But generally speaking.
I had a client actually tell me back in, about 2014, that, no, we think that this is a bubble and the bubble is going to burst. And when it does, then we'll come into the market. Well, they can't afford, based on where they were at in 2014, the same property in 2024.
So they're left with renting or moving away from somewhere as beautiful as where we live in Victoria, British Columbia. Yeah, well, waiting for the real estate market to crash is going to affect, if there is a downturn at any given point, that's going to affect employment. Yeah. So, and it's going to be harder. The lenders will become more stringent about who they lend to.
Yeah.
So it doesn't become easier unless you are flush with cash.
Yeah.
And if you were flush with cash, you would have bought already, leveraging your money. Okay, number 4. I've gotten this one. Social pressures to buy stocks, RRSPs, mutual funds instead of real estate.
Interesting.
So why don't you invest in more risky vehicles than real estate? Now, real estate doesn't go up in value. It's not guaranteed to make a profit.
Yeah.
And neither are stocks, and neither is like, the S&P 500 or any one of those things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And there is a cycle, and I don't want to go down like
Sure.
in details what I really think about it, but yeah, have you gotten that pressure to like, hey, you should be making these kind of investments, and it's not real estate?
Yeah, I think my situation is a little bit different because, I have people around me that are all like, let's make business grow and let's make, successful things happen and stuff like that. So they're open to anything. I've actually had people say,
Oh, it doesn't
"Hey, we
matter."
yeah, they've been like, hey, if there's a good real estate opportunity, we should do something, that way. They're looking for opportunities and they see that. So my situation is a little different in that the people that I'm generally surrounded by are like-minded in the sense of, let's grow this thing, whatever this
It
thing
doesn't
is.
matter,
Let's
yeah.
go, whatever. Yeah.
I think that's a good way to look at it. And of course, in the comments, it's going to say, oh, well, you guys are realtors, and this is a self-serving statement. All of our videos are self-serving. We believe in real estate, and it's not that we don't believe in stocks and we don't believe in other business opportunities.
I have stocks. Here's a good example. I have stocks. I invest in stocks for my daughter. She doesn't know that. She's not going to watch this video. She doesn't know that, but she'll find out one day.
Yeah. So, just preface that. I'm ready for you guys in the comments if you're going to bash on like, well, you guys are just realtors. And yeah, that's fine. Well, buy it in Nova Scotia. I can't help you in Nova Scotia. I can tell you who you should work with, but anyhow, moving on.
All right.
5, everything is going to change in an election year.
What's going to change and that's going to make it all better? You're going to still have the same. The structure isn't changing. The structure of the government and taxation is not changing because you're going to get some things thrown out to us in terms of, we're going to give you this tax incentive, we're going to give you this break and that break. But after the election, it's still the same system.
Yes, there might be some slight policy changes, but those policy changes may help out like a marginal group, like possibly. But as a whole, it's not going to change your life. It's not going to change your housing situation.
No.
I don't think any of the politicians, doesn't matter if you agree with them or if you disagree with them, they're not going to change your personal situation drastically. Like they're not going to help. They're not going to come up with your down payment. Mm-hmm. Raising the minimum wage will not help you buy a house. Like maybe, yeah, we go back to like financial education and other topics. Okay. But don't wait for an election year, or don't be worried that it's an election year. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't want to fix, you don't want to fix things. I don't want to invest in real estate because I don't want to fix things. I don't want to unclog that toilet, replace that light bulb. That's the middle of the night. Light bulb should be off.
Yeah.
Right, but you don't want to be hassled by tenants in the middle of the night.
Hire a management company.
Hire a management company. All right.
And the rule of thumb, if you start operating, if you're going to have a rental, is not to use up every penny of your rental income that comes in. Is to build the structure in such a way so that you can grow to the point of having 3 months of expenses for that rental property in the bank.
Yeah,
So
and if you love to do property management and deal with people, then that's cool. But
Great.
most people
But-
don't want to be bothered by that.
for
in the middle
whatever
of the night.
percentage you're going to give up, it's probably worth it.
So, number 7, people don't have the money. There might be a desire, and they could look past some of these things that
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm scared a little bit, but I'm willing.
Yeah.
I have a high risk tolerance, but I don't have the cash available to purchase or do a project in real estate.
Yeah. So, and that's very real.
Yeah.
But you can look. There's investor options. There's obviously finding out what's available from what is the bank offering? What can you get from, and here's a good example. We talked about the government, and do they have programs for investment in real estate, for purchase of properties? I know my first condo that I bought, it was with my RRSP for the down payment.
There we go. Perfect. So you leveraged. This is something that I think is amazing. You invested into RRSPs. Okay, you have invested into an asset, and then at the bank, you're allowed to borrow against that asset. Let's say it's 50 grand, just use a round number, right? So now you owe the bank back for lending you money against an asset that you already have. That asset didn't get smaller by 50 grand. It will continue to grow. But you'll have to pay this 50 grand back within a certain amount of time for this program while you leveraged that asset to buy another asset.
Yeah.
I think that's incredible. I think more people should be taking advantage of this.
Yeah.
But that leads me to, like, as you're saying this with like other programs, ways of getting money is using other people's money. If you don't have enough, maybe a partnership, somebody you trust.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a family member, maybe that's a friend, maybe that's a colleague.
And they trust you.
Like, if you're the problem, then maybe that's more to talk about. But
Yeah.
don't think you have to do it by yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
If there's somebody who's already doing it and you have some money and they're short a little bit of money, well, and they have the experience, well, maybe you don't get to be rewarded on the project completely, but you learned along the way from somebody who's got more experience than you.
Yep.
And that leads me to the last one. They don't know who to go for advice.
It's very good.
Right? Like, you might have this fantasy, this idea that, like, I think investing in real estate's a really good idea, but I don't know how and I don't know where to go. Maybe you watched a late night Tom Vu seminar or one of these guys.
Russ Whitney.
Long time ago. I
remember reading his book.
What was
I might still have it.
I can visualize Tom Vu's commercials of, like, Tom Vu being on a boat with all these girls in bikinis. You could be like me. Just call the number and whatever he said, right?
Yeah, right.
So I'm poking a little bit of fun at it, but reach out to a realtor, reach out to a financial planner, reach out to a mortgage broker.
Yeah.
Start to learn the ins and outs of, like, what's going on in the market. What is it going to cost?
Yeah.
And do you have funds, if it's your financial planner, from your bank or outside the bank, and go from there. Reach out to the experts. So,
Yep.
Did I leave anything off the list that's maybe holding you back from investing in real estate that you either can't get past? I didn't mention it. Love to discuss that in the comments, and maybe that's going to fuel a new video.
All right.
Thank you for joining us.
Give us a like and share. See ya.